Look at this parabola. If you notice, this parabola has one spot where it intersects the x-axis. Because it has one place where it intersects the x-axis, we can say that it has one solution. Look at this parabola. This parabola has two places where it intersects the x-axis. We can say that this parabola has two solutions. Look at this parabola. This parabola doesn't intersect the x-axis at all. We can say that this parabola has zero solutions. Now that you've been thinking about solutions and the number of solutions that an equation has, as shown in a parabola, we can think about a new term, and you can learn about it. It's called a discriminant. The discriminant will tell you how many x-intercepts a parabola has. And we can determine the discriminant of an equation by looking at the part of the quadratic formula inside the square root. Boy, that's a lot to think about. First, let's look at the quadratic formula once again. Here we have negative b plus and minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Now, this part right here inside the square root can help us to determine the discriminant. When we know what the discriminant is, when we've solved this part, we'll have the discriminant. Based on what that number is, we can figure out how many solutions. So a discriminant helps us to know how many solutions or how many x-intercepts there will be for an equation or when we graph a parabola. So to figure this out, we're going to say d is equal to b squared minus 4ac. d is equal to b squared minus 4ac. This will help us to determine the discriminant. Now, once we have the discriminant, we need to know how to tell how many solutions. So if the discriminant ends up being greater than 0, then there are two solutions, or two x-intercepts, on the parabola. If d becomes equal to 0, then it has one solution. We can abbreviate that SOL. And if d is less than 0, there are actually 0 solutions. Now let's apply all of this with an example. 2x squared plus 4x plus 6. We want to figure out how many solutions there are for this equation. Let's use the discriminant, and we know that the discriminant is equal to b squared minus 4ac. We have the values for a, b, and c in the equation. We can substitute them into this formula. So we have 4 squared minus 4 times 2 times 6. 4 squared is 16 minus 4 times 2 is 8 times 6 is 48, which leaves us with an answer of negative 32. Now, d is less than 0. When d is less than 0, we know that there is 0 solutions to this equation, which means that when we graph it, it's not going to intercept the x-axis at all. Using the discriminant can help us to determine the number of solutions for any quadratic equation.